Okay, so in this tutorial we're going to be taking a look at Cisco Packet Tracer. This is a really useful piece of equipment, this is a useful piece of software that you can use just to plan out some networks and stuff. I use it for college quite a lot. It's not particularly expensive for what it is. It's basically just a hardware simulator, and it's very in-depth and it's very nice to use. So we're going to set up a basic network with a switch, some computers, a printer, maybe a server, something. So everything you can place in this workspace here is down here. So you've got your routers, switches, hubs, all that kind of thing. We're going to start with a router, and we're just going to use the very first router right here and put that in there like that. So we're going to configure this before we even do anything else. So you want to click on it, go on the CLL, and you see that it's still booting up. These take a hell of a long time to do that. You want to click no and hit enter, and then hit enter again, and that's all set up ready for us to start coding into it in a minute. It's really not complicated, you just have to follow what I say and I'll explain as it goes along. Now we're going to add some switches, so you want to click switches, and you want to click the first switch again. Just add a switch there, we don't need too many of them. And then you want to click end devices. And this is your things like your servers, your file servers, TVs, wireless tablets and things like that. We're going to have a couple of generic PCs and a printer, generic printer. So we're going to have to begin with. Now we need to do the cabling, so you click connections, and you want a copper straight through connection from your fast Ethernet 0 port on the router to your fast Ethernet 1 port on the switch. It'll show up red, that's normal, leave as is. Now you're going to want straight through to everything else. Fast Ethernet, like that. See that one's orange and green, that's all setting itself up. To the printer, yep, same thing. Straight through, there, and there, and there. Now, it's worth noting right away that if you're not going to be using a switch and you have a PC, then you are going to need copper crossover cabling to connect these two. So imagine that's just a file server, it's just a Windows PC that's being used as like a bitch system that you can just get files from. We'll leave it like that. We'll set that up a bit later on. These flashing lights and stuff over here, it's just the switch figuring out where everything is at the moment. So the first thing we're going to do is configure the router, like we were just doing before. So you want to type enable. Make sure you don't spell any of these wrong, or you'll have to restart the router, which if you ever do and you want to know how, it's just this on-off switch here. You click that once and then click it on again. That's how you do that. Kind of cool. And then you want to type config T, which will put you into the configuration command line. Host name, one word, space. I'm going to call it R0, router 0, because that's how computers count. And then it will rename it. You see it's gone from being router config to R0 config. That's all that does. It just makes it a little bit easier to see what you're doing. Now you want to type interface space FA space. So the interface we're going to be using is fast Ethernet 0/0. That's the port, and hit enter. You can see there's a little if come after the config. Now what you want to do is configure the IP address. So you type IP space address space. Now this bit confuses some people. This is a standard 192.168. That's what all IP addresses on a network use. Think of it kind of like imagine you've got a street, and in that street there's a cul-de-sac. Well, the cul-de-sac would have 192.168, whereas the street would have something else. That's the kind of analogy that I've always stuck to. So you want to type, after that you want to hit 1.1. So this is going to be apparent to what this is pretty soon. Then you want to type space, and this is called the subnet mask. It's the same for pretty much everything you'll ever do. 255.255.255.0. That's the same for everything. Hit enter, done. Then type no shutdown, which starts it up. And then you want to hit enter again, and it starts up that interface. And then you can take, type exit. And then it puts you back to the standard config window, and you can close that down. And you'll see now there's a green connection here, there's an orange connection here, that'll go green soon, and all these will be connected. Kinda. Switches don't need configuring. You don't need to put IPs in these, they do everything on their own, they're just, they're just there. PCs need configuring, so you click on the PC, click desktop, and then IP configuration. Now in here, you want to type 192.168.1.2, because this is the second second machine, including routers and things. They're all machines that are using the .1 thing. So this .1 is everything on the fast Ethernet 0.2 because it's the second one. Subnet mask. Press tab and it goes to subnet mask. Then press tab again, and then type 192.168.1.1 because the default gateway is the router, and that's the router's IP address. And then you just click X, and that one's working now. Actually, no, go back into that. Make life easier. Copy this. We're going to use that for the printer. In the printer, you kind of have to look around for it a little bit, and you can look in the config, and it's all, where do we go? Your gateway, Control V, just put 1, same as normal. Click on the fast Ethernet IP address, Control V. You want to change the 2 to a 3 because it's the third machine on the .1 mask, and then subnet mask, just click on it and it fills it in automatically and you're done. Go to the next PC, click desktop, IP config, Control V, 4 because it's the fourth system, subnet mask done automatically, gateway, make sure that's .1, and that's good. Now we've got to configure this PC over here, the server type PC. So we want to click on the router, and then we want to type interface, or int, which is shorter, FA space 0/1. So this is the 0/1 port. Then you want to type IP address 192.168. Whoops, missed the 6. 68.2.1. So this is everything on the second Ethernet port for the router is number 2. Then 255.255.255.0. All good. Then you want to type no shutdown. Hit enter, hit enter again, exit. Good, all done. Close that down, click on the computer, go to the desktop, type IP, Control V. Now you need to change the 2 to a 1. The 1 to a 2, so you've got 192.168.2.2. Subnet mask, same, default gateway. Keep that as a 1, change that to a 2. And then they're all done. All of these are now networked together and working fine. They're all green, everything's great. So, let's give it a test. Now down here next to real time, you want to click on this little simulation button here. Click edit filters, click that bottom one there. Whoops, no, don't click that one. No mistake, click this. And then just ICMP, like that. Click away from that. Now you want to click this little plus sign here. So we're going to send the packet from the server all the way to the printer. Then press auto capture play. And press it again. There we go. Now that's going to go ahead and send a ping all the way to the printer. But it stopped at the router. So something isn't working. So we'll try something else. We'll try sending packet to computer there. Auto capture slash play, auto capture slash play. There we go. That's going to go ahead and send the ping. That should now go to the router. Nope, that's gone straight there. Great. Okay, so let's try this one again. So the ping has gone from the server PC, the file server PC, to all of these three. But it's only been accepted by the one that we sent it to, which is this printer here. So the other two completely ignored it. That one's the only one that pinged back because we didn't want to see a result from this one or this one. Whoops, this one. So that's how pings work. They're a bit fidgety, as you just saw, everything went a bit funny there. Sometimes it's actually just to do with the network still being established. It takes a little bit of time for the routers just to boot up and everything else to boot up. But that's how you do it all. So you see this one pop back again, we can click auto capture play, or you can click capture forward and it will just ping away to its heart's content until it comes back to that system there where you get your ping back. And that's a fully working network with a switch and the file server on the router. Something else that's worth noting, if you want to have multiple switches, more than 2, and you don't have enough ports there, you go on switches, add another switch. I mean, how are you going to plug that in? You can't plug it into the router. use copper crossover, and you connect it to the switch. It becomes then another switch. Copper crossover is generally used to connect devices that are the same to each other, whereas the only exception being routers to PCs because they're wired up exactly the same at the port. So we have the switches there. Those that will eventually come on and work. You can put all your computers on there. We'll just do one quick one. Whoops. Control C and Control V. So we've got a copy here. We'll use this link to connect to that. Then we'll click on this. Go to the desktop. Change the IP. We want that to say 5. That's what you need to change. We've added another system. We've added another machine to the system for another switch. You can have as many things to the switch as it can possibly take. There's all the ports that you can have. That's it. That's how you use the. Well, that's not really how you use the entire thing. That's the basics of Cisco Packet Tracer. Hope that was good. Have a good one.